right, we're back. Today we're gonna be looking at Bash. um, if you don't know what Bash is, you know what I'm gonna say. Google it. Um, but we're gonna learn about what Bash is here, and I got a feeling we're gonna be messing around with some Bash script here in a minute, or some Bash code, whatever you want to call it. Um, if you're into cybersecurity, you're into Linux or whatever, um, you're gonna want to learn some Linux code or some Linux scripting. Um, Bash is a good one to learn. Also, I've got a PowerShell book that I want to go through, and so these are the scripting languages um, to better automate, I would say, any process. Um, and it's basically learning how to write scripts, okay, and in your command line and stuff like that. Um, I think this is a good. I don't know if this is a good book yet. This is what we're gonna go through this, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna try to make this a series because I want to go through this book and get some actual practice writing Bash, and I think students or enthusiasts will benefit from these videos, right? Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through this book and we're gonna troubleshoot it. We're gonna get things to work, and we're gonna actually learn uh, how to use this thing, right? How to use Bash. Like I said, if you don't know what it is and you want to know more about it, do your research, right? And that goes with anybody. If you're autodidact, or if you're, like myself, or well, no, I'm not really. I mean, I would say I'm half and half because I did go to school, formal college and stuff, and I am going to formal college now. But I do like to learn on my own, right? I do like to study and learn things by myself from books or whatnot, right? And I think this book would be great for self-taught people or people that want to learn how to do something themselves. And because depending on what school you go to, right? Um, I don't think you're gonna encounter a lot of this Bash scripting and stuff. And depending on what your degree is and what your class is, right, and what classes you take, you're not gonna. I mean, you're not gonna learn much about it. You're gonna learn of it, and especially if you're not a programmer, I don't know. I would assume that an IT, degree in information technology, I'm sure you're gonna use this a lot, and administrative degrees or whatever. Cybersecurity, I assume you're gonna take some classes in it, learn of it, and you might have a couple assignments you have to use it or something maybe. But and programmers, maybe getting a computer science degree, you're going to come across Bash and use it a little bit here and there. But I don't know. So, a book like this is great because you can pick this up and you can learn it yourself, right? So let's get things started and find out what Bash really is. Okay, so this is a learning the Bash shell. Okay, so it's a shell, just like PowerShell or something like that. O'Reilly's book by Cameron Newbam, and Bill Rosenblatt, third edition. All right, let's check this out. This, I like to know what year this is written to because it might be kind of, it says third edition, but let's find out what year. If you purchase this book directly from O'Reilly's, you can get your Upgrade for $5. I think I got the third edition, so I don't know. Let's Bash. New release July 2004. If you have an older version, so this might be old, but I don't know if what new stuff they have in Bash. So, all right, preface. The first thing users of Unix or Linux operating systems come face to face with is the shell. Shell is a Unix term for a user interface to the system, something that lets you communicate with the computer via the keyboard and the display. Shells are just separate programs that encapsulate the system, and as such, there are many to choose from. Systems are usually set up with the standard shell that new users adopt without question. However, some of these standard shells are rather old and lack many features of the newer shells. This is a shame because shells have a large bearing on your working environment. Is Since changing shells is as easy as changing hats, there's no reason not to change to the latest and greatest in shell technology. Of the many shells to choose from, this book introduces the Born Again shell, Bash for short. Born Again shell. Born Again shell. Where's the thing? A modern general purpose shell. Other useful modern shells are the Corn shell, KSH, and the Tenix C shell, TCSH. Both are also the subjects of O'Reilly's handbooks. So there's a quick little preface on what Bash is. Bash versions. This book is relevant to all versions of Bash, although older versions lack some of the features of the most recent versions. You can easily find out what version you are using by typing echo bash version. Let's do that. Let's do this. What the hell is my. Alright, let's log in. Yeah. Alright, let's open the terminal. Let's minimize. Man, who cares? Alright, so bash version. Is that what it said? Oh, bash underscore version. Oh, echo. It wants me to say it. Okay. Echo bash underscore version. And there you go. Let's put this little. Let's just put up bash version. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, you gotta mess with this a little bit. I've never done this. What am I doing wrong? Let's look at this. Oh, wrong one. So sorry. It is this one. The earliest public version is what I'm playing. So maybe I don't have bash. I entered it like that. Bash version. Oh, wait. Yeah, I did it both ways, so it doesn't matter. Alright, maybe I don't have bash. Okay. Yeah. Nada. And it's just gonna say bash. Oh, hold on, let me see. I'm just gonna bash. Anyways, I don't know. Well, we're about to find out right now what version I've got. Summary of blah, 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 blah. The earliest public version of Bash was 1.0, and the most recent is 3.0. Recently released in July 2.4. If you have an older version, you might want to upgrade the latest one. Chapter 12 shows you about doing it. Summary of Bash features. Bash is a backyard. Bash is a backward compatible evolutionary successor to the Bourne shell that includes most of C's shell majors advantages, as well as features from the Corn shell and a few from new features of his own. Features appropriated from the C shell include directory manipulation with the push D, pop D, and DR command and directories command. Job control including FGBG commands, ability to stop jobs with Control Z. Oh, nice. Brace expansion for generating arbitrary strings. Tilde expansion. We don't care about all that. Bash's major new features include command line editing, key bindings, integrated programming features, yada yada yada. Intended audience. This book is designed to address casual Unix and Linux users who are just above the raw beginner level. You should be familiar with the process of logging in, entering commands, and doing simple things with files. Although Chapter 1 reviews concepts such as tree like file and directory scheme, you may find that it moves too quickly if you're a complete neophyte. In that case, we recommend the O'Reilly's Neophyte Beginner's Book, Handbook, Learning the Unix Operating System. Now, if you've watched my videos for a while, we're ready for this book. If you're an experienced user, you might wish to skip chapter one altogether. But if your experience is with the C shell, you might find chapter one reveals a few subtle differences. No matter what your level of experience is, you'll undoubtedly learn many things from this book. Yada yada yada. If you're interested in shell programming, write shell scripts and functions that automate everyday tasks to serve as system utilities. You should also find this book useful. However, we have deliberately avoided drawing a strong distinction between interactive shell use, entering commands during login processes, and shell programming. We see shell programming as a natural, inevitable outgrowth of increasing experience as users. Accordingly, each chapter depends on those previous to do it. Although the first three chapters are oriented towards interactive use only, subsequent chapters describe interactive, yada yada yada. This book aims to show you that writing useful shell programs doesn't require a computer degree. That's what we like. Even if you are completely new to computing, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to harness the power of Bash within a short period of time. Towards that end, we decided not to spend too much time on features of exclusive interest to low level system programmers. Concepts like file descriptors and special file types might only confuse a casual user, and anyway, we figure those of you who understand such things are smart enough to extrapolate the necessary information from the cursory discussions. Um, I like that because it's saying, yeah, we're going to teach you the basics and all this stuff, and once you learn this, you should be able to learn other stuff. Let's say you get a job, and they say, hey, you got experience with Bash? You can say absolutely. Well, show me something on Bash, and then you learned it from this book. You can go in there and show them. And then if you need to go deeper into Bash, then you're able to, and you're able to get paid to do it. So that'd be awesome. All right, code examples. This book is full of examples of shell commands and programs designed to be useful in your everyday life as a user, not just to illustrate the features being explained. In Chapter 4 and onwards, we include various programming problems, which we call tasks, that illustrate particular shell programming concepts. Some tasks have solutions that are refined in subsequent chapters. The later chapters also include programming exercises, many of which will build on tasks in the chapter. See, I like that too. Feel free to use any code you see in this book and pass it along to friends and colleagues. We especially encourage you to modify and enhance it yourself. If you want to try examples, but you don't want to use Bash as your login shell, you must put the following line in the top of each shell script. Wait, hold on. If you want to try examples, but you don't use Bash in your login shell. So here's the bin bash. If Bash isn't installed on as the file bin bash, substitute it with path name in the above. If you want to investigate chapter summary, if you want to investigate special topics rather than read the entire book through, here's a chapter. No, you don't want to do that, and that's why I kind of never really looked through this. Later on we can look through it. But I don't really care. I want to read it from start to finish. And if I don't like a chapter, I skip it to the next one. I don't think going through and planning it is never works out. It's a waste of time. Conventions used in this Conventions used in this handbook. We leave it as an understood that when you enter in a shell command, you press return at the end. Return is labeled enter on sub keyboards. Characters called Control X, letter, holding control, yada yada. Okay, this is just the bold used for bash built-in commands, alias variables, and options. They're going to put it in bold, constant bold. Use examples in constant bold, for example, blah 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 blah. Constant italic. We'd like to hear from you. All right, skip all that. Okay, using code examples. Safari enabled. When you see a Safari enabled icon on the cover of your favorite technology book, that means the book is available online. Acknowledgements for the first edition, third edition. Alright, this is the one. Thanks for Riley's. Thank you for check. So and so. Okay. Chapter 1 Bash Basics. Since the early 1970s, when it was first created, the Unix operating system had become more and more popular. During this time, it has branched out into different versions and takes on such names as Ultrix, AIX, Xenix, Sonos, and Linux. Starting on mini computers and mainframes, it has moved into desktop workstations and even personal computers used at work and at home. No longer a system used only by academics, computing wizards at universities and research centers, Unix is used in many businesses, schools, and homes. As time goes on, more people will come into contact with Unix. You may have Unix in your school, office, or home to run applications, print documents, read your electronic mail. But have you ever thought about the process of what happens when you just type in the command when you type a command and hit return? Several layers of events take place whenever you enter a command, but we're going to consider only the top layer, known as the shell. Generically speaking, a shell is any user interface to the Unix operating system, i.e., any program that takes input from the user, translates it into instructions that the operating system can understand, and conveys the operating system output back to the user. Shows the relationship between user, shell, and operating systems. Shell is a layer on the Unix operating system. There are various types of user interfaces. Bash belongs common to the most common category known as character-based user interfaces. These interfaces accept lines of textual commands that the user types in. They usually produce text-based outputs. Other types of interfaces include the increasingly common graphical user interface, which which add the ability to display arbitrary graphics, not just typewriter characters. and to accept input from mouse or other pointing devices, touchscreen interfaces such as those on some bank teller machines, and so on. What is shell? The shell's job then is to translate the user's command lines into operating system instructions. For example, consider this command line: sort dash in phone lists caret phone list dot sorted. This means sort lines in the file phone list is numerical. Hold on. This means sort lines in the file phone list is numerical order, and put the results in the phone list sorted. Wait, what? Sort lines in the file phone list. This means okay, yeah. This means sort lines in the file phone list. So instead of sort, and then the dash in is for the numerical. They want to make a new file called phone list.sorted. Here's what the shell does in this command: breaks up the line into pieces, sort, using the sort function, dash in, phone list, caret, caret output, and phone list.sorted. These, what the heck? These pieces are called words. Determines the purpose of the words. Sort is a command. Dash in and phone list are arguments, and the caret and phone list sorted taken together are the input slash output instructions, or IO. Okay, so what did it say first? Command dash in and phone list are arguments, and the IO. Yeah, it makes sense. Your command. Set function, same thing. Set up the IO input output according to the caret or whatever this is. You can call it the greater than, whatever. I just call it caret. Phone list dot sorted. Output to the file phone list dot sorted. And some standard implicit instructions. Find the command sort in a file. Find the command sort in a file and runs it with the option N numerical order. That's something you gotta look up or whatever. And the R was the sort our argument. Yeah. And the argument phone list input file name. Damn. Of course, each of these steps really involves several sub-steps, each of which include a particular instruction to the underlying operating system. Remember that the shell itself is not Unix, just the user interface to it. Unix is one of the first operating systems to make the user interface independent of the operating system. Did not know that. Scope of this book. In this book, you will learn about Bash, which is one of the most recent and powerful of the major Unix shells. There are two ways to use Bash: as a user interface, and as a programming environment. This chapter and the next cover interactive use. These two chapters should give you enough background to use the shell confidently and productively for most of your everyday tasks. After you've been using the shell for a while, you will undoubtedly find certain characteristics of your environment, the shell look and feel. I wish they wouldn't put this stuff in here that confuses me. I just say, really? You really needed to explain that like that? Characteristics of your environment. I mean, it's self-explanatory. That you would like to change, and tasks that you would like to automate. All right. Chapter 3 shows several ways of doing this. Chapter 3 also provides you with the shell programming. Why is it jumping so far into different chapters? The book of which is covered, and this is all just stupid, I would say. You need to have you need not have any program experience. They already said that. See, I'm already not liking this. You'll learn a lot about Bash in this book. You'll also learn about. You already said that. Hey, come on, what's going on here? It's redundant. This is blah 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 crap. History of Unix shells. The independence of shell from the Unix operating system. Why do we want to know more history about it? We just read some. The the first major shell was Bourne shell. We already know that. You just said that. After his inventor Stephen Bourne. It's Stephen Bourne. It was included in the first popular version of Unix, version 7, started in 1979. The Bourne shell is known for system as SH. Although Unix has gone through many changes, the Bourne shell is still popular, essentially unchanged. Several Unix utilities. The first widely used alternative shell was C shell. We said that already. That's the third time. See, this is why I like my channel, because I like to read these books and compare them to all the other books that I'm reading and the way they're training and teaching. And I think this one's overkill. They're saying the same thing over and over and over again. This needed to only be said once or twice. Once and then another time in a different context, maybe. But I, mean, I got a feeling this is going to just repeat itself over. And what this does is waste his time. We already know it's okay. Now, this is if you don't know anything about shell. Well, it did say to skip this chapter, I think, but I mean, still, I mean, uh, this is still overkill. I would say for somebody that doesn't even, that's barely getting into it. The born again shell. The born again shell name. I mean, when are you ever going to use all this? This is stupid. When are you? When are you? Is somebody going to sit there and quiz you on this? Are you going to strike up a conversation while you're drunk with a bunch of nerds and go, "Hey, guess what? I know." Nobody cares, eh? I don't know. I don't know. If you want to read all this, go ahead. This is ridiculous. Future bash. Although Born Shell's going. Born Shell again? We're still talking about that. Alright, this is where the gold is. Getting bash. You may or not you may or may not be using bash right now. Your system, I don't think I'm using it. Your system administrators probably set your account up with whatever shell he or she, see what the hell's going on here? You gotta be inclusive, no? It could have been a she, uses as the standard on the system. Did we find out how old this book was? Man, I'm having too much fun. On the system, you may not even been aware that there is more than one shell available. Yet it's easy for you to determine which shell you're using. Log on your system, type echo shell. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Echo shell. Man, that's like pulling teeth. Teeth assist. Not teeth. Teeth. What an F. That's what that was pulling. Echo. Man, what's going on here? Nothing's working. Didn't it say just put Echo Shell? Log onto your system and type Echo. Man, is this for Windows or is this for Linux? This is for Unix. Whew. Alright, hold on. Echo Shell. It needs capital. Man, that's not working. I could have just cleared that. Oh man. Okay, there you go. User bin ZSH. So what are we using? ZSH and type echo shell at the prompt. You will respond containing the SH, CSH, KSH, or bash. These denote the born, C, corn, and bash shells respectively. There's also a chance you're using another shell such as TCH. Let's see what the C. Man, what I forgot what the hell it was called again. Man, let's see. ZSH. Z shell ZSH is a Unix shell that can be used as an interactive login shell. Command interpreter shell scripting. ZSH is an extended Bourne shell with many improvements, including some features of Bash, KSH, TCSH. So it is a Bourne shell. Bourne shell. Let's see what happened here. I think this book is really, really old. I don't know if it is. It might be, and that's fine. Um, that's fine. Oh man, come on! I'm just getting really irritated now. Where the hell is my? What the fudge is going on here? Oh man, where's the book? Oh, right there. Okay. Do you know the Born? So this is just yeah, anyways, who cares? If you aren't using Bash and you want to, then you first need to find out if it exists on your system. Just type bash. If you get a new prompt consisting of some information followed by a dollar sign, bash 3, whatever, then all is well. Type exit back to your normal shell. If you get a not found message, your system may not have it. Really? Ask your system administrator, hey, Michael, got that? I don't know yet, about to find out. Or another knowledgeable user. There's a chance that you might have some version of bash installed on the system in place directory that is not. Alright, let's type bash. This is already just kind of irritating. Man, bash. Let's see what bash does. Bash. Nada. Ain't got no bash. It says I have bash. Why is that not? Oh, am I in bash? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm in it. I don't know. I don't know if I have it set up for here. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. Bash. What version? Oh, oh. Yeah, I think it's going into bash, but I don't know. Nada. I don't know. Let's keep reading. Let's just keep reading. Reading. I'm just gonna follow these steps. I'm not gonna go ahead go further. Just type bash. Nothing happened. Uh, okay. Let's see. Normally accessible to you. If not, read chapter 11 to find out how you can obtain a version of Bash. Once you know you have Bash on your system, you can evoke it from whatever other shell you use by typing Bash above. However, it is much better to install it as your login shell, i.e., the shell that you get automatically whenever you log in. You might be able to do the installation by yourself. Here are the instructions that are designed to work on the widest variety of Unix systems. If something doesn't work, you type in a command and get a not found error message or a blank line as the response. You'll have to abort the process and see your system administrator. Alternatively, turn to Chapter 12 where we can demonstrate a less straightforward way to replacing your current shell. If you need to find out where bash is on your system, i.e., in which directory it's installed, you might be able to find the location by typing where is bash. If that doesn't work, try whence bash, which bash, rep bash. You should see the responses. Looks like bin bash or usable bash. Blah, 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 blah. All right, let's see if we've got. Let's see if we what. Okay, so we're using born. So this where is bash might not work, but let's try it. Bash user bin bash user share main man bash. So we do got bash. So there it is. Yeah, look bash. Okay, now we're in bash, but nothing changed right here. But it's ready. Okay, I see. I see. I might have bash. All right. To install bash in your login shell, type uh, chsh bash name, where bash name is a response you got to your where is command or whatever worked. You'll either get an error message saying the shell is invalid, or you'll be prompted for a password. Type in the password. Okay, I think I already have bash because it showed me where it was at. Uh, you should see a response like looks like bin bash or user local bin bash. To install bash as your, I don't know if I want to install this as my login shell. Um, man, because let me. How old is this book? Uh, let's see. Got good reviews 2009, 2015, 2006, 2024. Look, I've been in technology for 24 years. Every time I run across something that makes my scratch my head, I look for research, YouTube, online forums, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you need to learn enough through the blogger, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, maybe, yeah. So it's probably relevant to this day. Maybe Bash is better to have. I don't know. Third edition was probably made recently. That's what I have. So let's see. I mean, it couldn't hurt. Let's do it. Let's let's do it. And I can make a save state too. So let's make a save state. Let me man, I can't stand myself sometimes. Let's make a save state. So log out. Bam. Alright. And we're gonna do Uh, Bring this over here. So this is brand new save state. What we can do is we can go to machine tools snapshots, right? Snapshot, brand new current state. Let's make it. Let's take a snapshot and let's call this before bash shell uh, upgrade, just in case we don't want to. I changed my shell from H Z ZSH to bash on, on before shell upgrade. I just made a save 10 seconds ago before shell bash upgrade. Change the So I guess I can always go back to this brand new, right? That's how that works. Alright, let's go. Let's do it. He said let's let's get wild. See, that's why I like VMs. You can make a snapshot, do something crazy to it, you break it, go back. I need to fix this. I don't know what this is. Yeah, see, corrupt history for home county dot zhs history. Alright, maybe we can fix that if we go to bash. So let's go here. That's what's fun about this. You just take your time. You got to get it done. Okay, so now, okay, to install Bash, you're long and show type chsh bash name, where bash name is the response you got to your where is command or whatever worked. For example, bash user local bin bash. Let's do that. So where is bash? Where the all right. User bin bash. I'll take that one. And we're gonna say let's see. CHSH. Alright. Doesn't exist. It's right there. Oh, there's the GZ file. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see what it says. To install blah 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 blah, whereas command or whatever worked. For example, this is what I typed in, something like that. You either get an error message saying that the shell is invalid, or you're prompted for your password. type in your password, and then log out and log back in and start your using Bash. So what did we get? We got the invalid. Oh, we got our ch user doesn't exist. Let's take this because it doesn't look like the book's gonna elaborate on this. So this is what we're gonna troubleshoot. Let's see what Almighty AI says first, since it's so powerful and knows all. It don't know it doesn't know nothing. Let's see what this guy said. User does not exist. Trying to change default shell. Oh, I want to change my default shell from TCSH to Bash. So I tried this, and this is what happened. Sudo user ID, changing the login shell for user in a new large shell, bin bash, user ID does not. Okay. Indeed, I am not in etc password. I don't know why this is happening. Okay. Is your system using distributed authentication? In that case, your user details will not appear in local etc password file, but should be visible using keytent password. Think that whether running ch mm, mm, there is a workaround for GNOME terminal. Go to edit profiles, title and command. Check run a custom instead of my shell. Nope. Oh, you do not need to become a root. Just type. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Sometimes you don't need to be root. Sometimes it just gives you problems. Instance doesn't exist. Let me see, what did that book say? Let's go back to the book. Let's see what. Let's see what this is. What is this percentage? What the All right, so let's go. Let's say CHSH. You can change your default shell using the CHSH change shell. Follow command is followed. The syntax is $. How do I switch from? All right, let's see. Uh, Mm, mm. Well, cat etc shells. Let's see if that. I want to see what we have. So this is just going to be some trial and error. This is the process of trying to figure all this out. People are gonna get stuck on this. I haven't got stuck for a minute, so I like this. The hell did it say? Cat. So so I've got sh. Yeah, bin bash. What did I put here? User bin bash. User bin bash. Yeah, that is right there. Let's see. So I have it set up for this one right now. Okay, let's see if I guess I could just delete that. Let's see if this one works. Yeah, I've got PowerShell in there too. Microsoft PowerShell in screen. It says you don't need this, but let's try it anyways because I don't. Let's change it to let's see what happens when I do something that's already there. All right, look, yeah, it does not exist. So let's see what that. See what this guy did.
What's up, everyone? Jason Turley here. Today I'm going to show you two ways to change your Kali Linux prompt. Quick, easy, painless. So, new versions of Kali Linux use Z shell, and you can see that with echo $0 or echo $shell. Now, by default, Z shell has this two-line command prompt. We can see my username and host name on the first line, and the second line is where the commands are entered. So this is fine, it works, but I think it's a little bit ugly. It takes up a lot of space. The first and easiest way to change this back to a regular bash prompt is just hitting Control P. And I'm toggling between the two prompt layouts. Now bash still uses this by default, so if you don't like using zcell and you run bash, you're back in that one line prompt. And you echo $0 again, and it says I'm in bash. Exit out of that, echo $0, and I'm back in Z shell. Hit Control P to toggle between these two. The second way to change your command prompt,
Control P. Yes, yes, yes. Control P. Ah, there we go. What did he say? Echo shell? Oh, what the? What did I do? Yeah, I jacked that up. And that's bash, right? Okay. Let's see what he said. What did he do?
Exit out of that. 0 again. And that one line prompt. Echo $0 again. And it says
Echo $0 So I want to see what. Lied. User bin ZSH.
I'm in bash. Exit out of that. Which is this by default. So if you don't like you to a regular bash prompt, is just hitting Control P. And I'm toggling between the two prompt layouts. Now bash still uses this by default, so if you don't like using Gcell and you run bash, you're back in that.
Yeah, let's run that bash. Bash. Now I'm in bash. So that's what we're gonna have to do. That's see, I like that though. I learned something. So obviously we haven't, but I don't know what that other thing was. I guess you don't need to change it. This is the easiest way. You can just get it to bash. I guess that is the easiest way. Let's see what else this guy's saying.
That one line prompt. Echo $0 again, and it says I'm in bash. Exit out of that. Echo $0, and I'm back in Z Shell. Hit Control P to toggle between these two. The second way to change your command prompt is to edit the Z Shell runtime config file. This file simply contains all the settings for your Z Shell configuration, and you can customize this any way you see fit. I'm in Vim, so I'm going to search for 2-line, hit enter, and these are the different ways your prompt can be configured. We see our prompt symbol, K for Kali Linux, and if I'm root, my UID equals 0, we see that the prompt is a skull. The default is the 2-line prompt that we see. There's also 1 line and backtrack, which is the OG version of Kali Linux. If you scroll down a bit further, there is a variable named prompt alternative, and it's set to 2-line. This is your default prompt. So I can change this to 1 line.
It's so funny how we. I guess I don't need to do that then. So I'll just leave it the way that is. That's good. First, I don't want to overcomplicate my brain. So I think we figured out what we're gonna do. Just we got to remember these commands. So, well, echo $0. I'm just gonna tell you uh, what our what we're using. We just type in bash. Yeah, so my system just took a dump. I did a recording and it didn't save, and Clipchamp just took a crap. Um, but I mean, I think I talked a little too long anyway. So let's redo this closing of the video. So let's look at what I did um, last. So we figured out how to get it into the bash um, shell, which is that's what we want for the book. So we're golden right there. We don't have to go any further. Okay. Um, I echo while I was in the bash shell. I echo bash version, that previous command, and I got the version. Okay, here's the version. So that works. Here, you might, you have to be into the bash shell to get the version, which makes sense to me, I guess, right? And it's case sensitive, right? So this one didn't work, lowercase, so I had to do it from the book. So the book was right? I don't think the book tells you have to be in the bash shell. Maybe it did. I don't know, but we learned a lot. Okay, this may not seem like we learned a lot in this chapter already, you know, last hour, but we did. Um, we're gonna stop it here, and we're gonna get on the next video. We're gonna start doing the rest of these chapters, right? This is a pretty long book. I mean, it's got working directories, input output, pipelines, background jobs. I mean, it's doing a lot of things with Bash, which I think are cool because if you look now on these job listings for cybersecurity professionals, they have Bash on there, right? They want to know if you have experience in Bash. Now, what's cool about this book, okay, is that, or even my videos or whatnot, is that we can go through this and get some practical experience with it, right? Like, and troubleshoot it and understand what we're doing wrong, how we're not following the book, but we get some practical experience with the command line, right? And so that's what I like about it. Another thing is um, you know well, I don't know. But anyways, that's the benefit. I had a lot of fun doing this. I don't know if you guys did. I hope you did too. If you're new to this channel, okay, then you probably don't have a virtual environment set up, or maybe you do. Um, I have previous videos in the Ethical Hacking book series, like video 1, 2, and 3, where I'm setting up a VM, and I think I'm gonna make it a separate series on how to set up your VM and stuff. But for now, you go to those videos and watch them and set up your own VM, and then follow along, or buy this book and do it yourself. Now that's what I like. Another thing I like about these videos, most of these books I'm going to go through step by step the most important things we're learning and whatever, and you don't even have to buy the book. You can just follow along and enter in the commands, and you can pause your video and you can read the, because I'll go into like this one. You could pause the video and you could read this chapter yourself and follow along yourself. And usually I go through each page. I only skip certain things, but if you see me skipping stuff when I'm going yada yada yada, pause it and just read it yourself, right? But for the most part, you can follow along, and if you get stuck, if you decide to do it yourself, then you can come back to these videos and you can figure out how I figured it out, right? Because, or maybe I didn't figure it out and I just skipped it. That happens sometimes. That happened in a couple videos, but most of the time I figure it out and we just keep on rolling, right? So, or figure out an alternative solution to it, and we just keep on rolling. So, that's it. This video is done, and I don't want to do it too long. I just want to do about an hour. And but we learned a tremendous amount. Just doing this small little bit of getting the shell ready, right? We learned a lot. So, uh, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video on this series, or on my other series. All right, that was HackTheFile. I hope you had fun. Enjoy.